Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you everyone for joining this Friday satsang. So now we'll have Kirtan by Mukunda Prabhu and Kanchan Mataji. Are you ready?
Yeah, Prabhu, that will take a minute.
Sure. Nice to see Spurti Mataji also. Very nice chanting. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Gaurishya Srila Prabhupada. We should prepare for next Paugonda very soon. Right? Yes. Are you ready? Krishna.
Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari. Jai. Jai.
Jai. Kanchan Mataji and Mukunda Prabhu ki jai. Wonderful Kirtan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
All good. Prabhupada.
Bless you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, all Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, all Guru Prabhupada. Sorry, Prabhu, I had my phone on also there.
Yeah, nice to see you, Prabhu. After seems like 2 weeks. Sorry, I was not able to attend.
Yeah, I think it's been a couple of weeks. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Krishna Prabhupada.
Prabhu.
So I lost a little bit track, so you all should recap. Prabhu, so
Yeah, no worries.
So
yeah, last time I think we did a couple of verses, 39 and 40. Yeah, 39 and 39 and 40. So we are basically towards the end of the chapter now. I think today we can finish off the chapter hopefully. So does anybody want to do the quick recap?
I can try, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mata, Jai Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji. Last time we did 39 and 40, two shlokas. In the 39, it was mainly Krishna is saying, Lord Krishna is saying how a man should be to get transcendental knowledge. So what are the characteristics they need to have? And one of them is faith. So a person who has faith and how it will help. because once you get faith, then you get the knowledge. And then here you gave us an analogy, like one of the characteristic of faith is evidence. So without evidence, then like if we cannot see Krishna directly, then if you have faith, then you'll feel the evidence also. And like, and at the same time, if we use intelligence, then you will have faith. But if we lose intelligence, then you won't have faith. And like, just like analogy you gave us, like sunrise. See, how do we know? Like when we get up in the morning, no matter what, sun comes and then sunset, which means there is a perfect system that's going on. And how are you able to say that? Because you have faith. So like that, if you have faith, then everything looks, then you get the knowledge. But if your faith gets disturbed, then we get questions. And then whether there is God, there is no God, if there is Krishna, like that. So that's why Krishna is making it very clear that first and foremost, to become transcendental, we need to have faith. That is one of the main characteristic. And in 440, Prabhuji, 1 minute, Prabhuji. And then in 440, it's mainly they're saying like 3 kinds of people. Like if see 39, Krishna is saying that you should have faith. In 40, they're saying if you don't have faith, what happens? Like there's 3 different kind of people: ignorant, faithless, and doubtful. Like he uses the words agnan. Agnan is ignorant. Ashraddha is faithless person, and samshayatma is doubtful person. And then you gave us like what Srila Prabhupada said in that, and then Vishwanath Chakravarti, how he told us in Bhakti Rasamrita. Like ignorant means like animals, they don't have any knowledge. And whereas faithless person means we don't know, and at the same time we don't know, because no knowledge, we don't know what to believe, and then no trust. So they have some faith, it is still not useful. Whereas doubtful person is that, again, they're always doubting. They have knowledge, but still they'll keep doubting. So Krishna is making it clear, these are the 3 disqualifications, and nobody, one cannot go anywhere if you fall one of these, if you have one of these 3 disqualifications. And that's why the solution is, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, if you follow footsteps of acharyas, you won't be ignorant, and you will have faith, and then you won't be doubtful. And those are the 3 main things which we need to get the transcendental knowledge about Krishna. And then you told us like a few pastimes, then we all shared whatever we know from other scriptures and from Bhagavatam as to how do we say that we have faith. And then one of the thing is from Chaitanya Bhagavat, I think Ramshyam Prabhu was saying, his finger was hot when he was trying to serve. So like that we said various other examples, Prabhuji. So this is the 2 I made notes, which I'm able to remember. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. I mean, those are very detailed notes and very nice comprehensive summary. Thank you so much, Mataji. Anybody else? Ram Champu, anything?
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So yeah, so in the last class, Mataji only had made 1 point. The Bhagavatam class, we had that 7th canto, 9th chapter, 44 verse. There you pointed like Bhajana Nandi and Goshtha Nandi. So
Right.
So yeah, so that's I wanted to bring the point. And there is the relation between the 30 verse number 39 with the verse number 34 as well. So yes, the faith after the faith develops. So once we have the faith, then we, based upon that faith, we approach to the Guru, and Guru guides us for the regulations of the control of the senses and everything. So and then we become submissive and then we start following the Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, Prabhuji, that's all from my side. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll go over a few of the topics from what we covered last time, because I mean there is a lot, and then I'm wondering if we'll be able to conclude this. If not today, we'll probably conclude it next time. But there's still some more material that I wanted to cover as far as verses 40, well, 39, 40, and the surrender part and all is concerned. So I think that's, but anyway, we can just read these 4 verses as far as recitation is concerned, since most everybody wasn't there for the last session. You can just do the reading of 39, 40, 41, and 42.
Yeah.
So I see Surat Prabhu is there. Maybe the kids are there, they can start.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What text is it, Prabhuji?
439.
439.
So I just wanted to share, last Saturday, I actually had the good fortune of seeing Shiva Prabhu and family in person at the Atlanta temple. I was there, and so we saw, like, Shiva Prabhu and I saw each other, and we were like, Hare Krishna Mata. We were like, oh wow, it was great to see in person.
It was not planned, right? It was just coincidence.
Yeah, it was just coincidence. They happened to be there, and I happened to be there, and we were stopping by for 5-10 minutes, and so we got to see them in person. It's great.
So Prabhuji, that means that's a hint that you have to come to Philadelphia to see all of us in person.
Yeah, or you all have to come to Atlanta.
Only one person coming here, seeing all the faces.
Actually, that is true. Yeah, that's easier. You're right.
Ajit Krishna Prabhu, my house is open for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Vishwanu Prabhu. It's always so
Always
wonderful.
you are welcome. My house is only 2 bedrooms, always free for you.
Well, for me, the couch is enough. So thank you so much, Prabhu. I really appreciate it.
Prabhu, mine is 3 bedroom. Consider.
Prabhuji, come to our house. It's 5 bedroom.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Prabhu, thank you all so much. It's the heart. It's the heart that has the place in it. So, the number of bedrooms doesn't matter. Thank you so much.
Okay, Surat Prabhu, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, what text is it again?
439.
9.
Svallabate jnanam.
Shraddhavallabhate
Pate jnanam
Tatpara samyatendriyaha.
tatpara samyatendriyaha
Jnana labdva param santim.
jnanatva param shanti
Santim achirena digacchati.
achirena adigacchati.
Translation: a faithful person who is absorbed in the transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Any other kid can Spurti read, or Rajna Mataji is there? Is Tarun Krishna?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can you read? 440.
1 second.
Oh, sorry, this is
Oh, well,
sorry for 1 second.
You can say it, I think.
Agnascha
Shraddhadanascha.
Shraddhadanascha
Agyascha
Shraddhadanascha
Sayatma Vinashati.
Shamsayatma
Vinashyati.
Vinashyati
Samshayatma vinashyati.
vinasati.
Nayam loko stina paro
Nayam
Ayam loko asti na paro.
nasukam
Samsayatmanaha.
samshayatmanaha
Nasukam samshayatmanaha.
Very nice, Tarun Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Tarun.
Krishna.
Anybody else wants to do 41?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
Prajna can read.
Okay.
Prabhuji is sharing the screen.
Yoga sanyasta karmanam
Yoga
Yogasanyas
Karma.
gnana sanchana samyasam
Jnana
Jnana
samshaya.
samyasam.
atmavantam na karmani
Atma
Atmavantam na karmani.
nibadhnanti dhananjaya.
Badhanati dhananjaya.
Dhananjaya.
One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of worth or conqueror of riches. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prajna Mataji. Any other kid? Okay, Prabhuji can go, or Mataji can go. Okay, nobody takes. Okay, I'll take it. Tasmadajnana sambhutam
Tasmadajnana sambhutam.
Ritsam gnanasinatmanaha
Ritstam jnanam atmanaha.
Chitvainam samshayam yogam
Yogam samshayam yogam.
Atistotista Bharata.
Atisto bharata.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
Jai Hare Krishna. Or we'll just start with the invocation prayers and then we can do a quick discussion. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyanjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmetam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in this chapter, basically, since we're getting towards the end, but there is like the conclusion will take a little bit longer. Maybe we'll do that in the next session. But over here, some of the points that I wanted to bring out are that starting from text 34 all the way through 42, I mean, these 8-9 verses, these form the conclusion of this chapter. And basically over here, in these verses, there is a lot of emphasis that's being laid on the process of acquiring knowledge, because Krishna says, like we read, last time as well, that the process of knowledge helps one develop faith. So in text 39, like we read today, the translation says, a faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues the senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. So in order to achieve this knowledge, one, you got to control your senses, and two, the person has to have faith. And Krishna says, having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. So the process of acquiring knowledge has been there's been a lot of focus on it. Now, in text 40, there's an interesting, or there are a couple of points that have been made, which we had covered last time as well, where Krishna says that, but the ignorant, the faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. And he's stressing a lot upon the doubting person. The doubting person. He says the doubting person, for the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So, important point there is, don't be a doubter. It's okay to be ignorant, but it's worse to be a doubter. And why? So Krishna actually is saying that the doubter is worse than the ignorant person. And why that is because the doubters have some knowledge. They have some knowledge. That's why they're doubting it. But they have some knowledge. The ignorant person basically has no knowledge. So in that sense, they're just oblivious, completely oblivious. But they also have a little bit of faith. The doubters have a little bit of faith, you see. But they are condemned more by Krishna. And that's because the doubts are more dangerous than ignorance. Why is that? Because doubts can lead a person in the wrong direction and make the person resistant to the mercy that the person would otherwise achieve. See, it's the doubts that makes a person resistant to receiving mercy. An ignorant person is still open to guidance. A person may be ignorant, but that can be equated sort of to innocence. The person just doesn't know. But a doubter is a person who has some knowledge, who has some faith, and then he starts doubting. Then that will make the person resistant to receiving the mercy. And therefore, a doubting person is actually acting a little bit on malice. So that's why Krishna condemns the doubting person. And he says a doubting person knows enough to be unhappy. But he says the doubts can be destroyed by knowledge. Doubts can be destroyed by knowledge. So that's why there is a lot of emphasis given in these verses on the process of knowledge and on the process of developing faith, such that the doubts are actually eradicated. So then, if we look at the chapter, Krishna basically began with a brief explanation of the proper way of getting knowledge. And now he's concluding with the same point. It's just that in the beginning few verses, he spoke about the descending process, the knowledge coming from Krishna through the parampara. The verses that I gave this knowledge to the sun god Vivasvan, Vivasvan imparted it to Manu, so on and so forth. And then he talks about yada yahi dharmasya. And so the process or the descending process of knowledge was the starting point. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manve praha. So that was in the beginning. And now towards the end, in text 34, he's basically talking about the ascending process of acquiring knowledge. So the beginning was the descending process of acquiring knowledge, how he gives the knowledge. And then he's talking in the end about the ascending process where the jiva approaches the guru then connects the jiva to the parampara, and through the parampara, the devotee can get knowledge about Krishna. So that's why the parampara system is very, very, very important. And so in text 34, where Krishna says that vidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya tekshanti tegyanam jnaninas tattvadarshina, he bring out a few very important points. One, that the devotee should inquire about what needs to be done. Pariprashnena means asking questions. So one should inquire what needs to be done. Then sevaya. Pariprashnena, then sevaya. Sevaya meaning what seva one should perform. Then the third part was inquire submissively. Not arrogantly, but submissively, and then ask, but with faith. Faith that you will get the right answer. That's the right mood with which to ask. That's the right mood with which to pose the questions, pariprashnena, with faith. Because if you don't have faith, if you have doubts, then you're going to run into that whole difficulty of not being able to receive the mercy. You'll not be able to accept the mercy. So the inquiry should be with faith. Then Tattvadarshina, the guru is described as Tattvadarshina, which means that the guru should basically speak from the scriptures. So if the guru speaks from the scriptures, then we know that he is a bona fide guru. If the guru is speaking from scriptures and is in the line of disciplic succession, then we know that he's bona fide. So those are some of the points that Krishna wants us to focus on, and he's explaining it to us through Arjuna. And then when he says Jnaninas means the guru should be practicing what he preaches. Because if you remember last time we spoke about Gyan, and then through karma, Gyan leads to Vigyan. So if the guru is practicing what he preaches, meaning he's got Gyan and Vigyan, then his karma, his activities are apparent to us. And so we say, yes, this is the person practices what he preaches. So that is the implication of the word jnaniness in that verse, jnaniness. And we saw, of course, tattva darshana, meaning he should speak from the scriptures. So one of the important points that is made in this connection with a actually reference to Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's chapter 3, canto 6, verse 36, 36. Over there, there are three points that are highlighted. That the Guru, he should speak yatha shrutam, yatha mati, and yatha gati. So yatha shrutam, yatha mati, and yatha gati. Yatha shrutam means that the Guru, what he has heard, that he should simply repeat. Shrutam, hearing. So as long as the Guru simply repeats what he has heard from bona fide sources, that's the right thing. Then yata mati, meaning what he has understood, that he can explain. And then last one is yatha gati, meaning what he has realized, that he can share. Yatha gati, meaning whatever he has realized, that he can share. So if we approach a bona fide Guru, we get the benefit of yatha shruti, yatha mati, yatha gati. And so these three aspects are very important in order for us to acquire knowledge. Now, what the Guru has realized, yatha gati, we may not have those realizations at this point in time. But because the Guru is way more advanced than us, he will have those realizations. And then out of their mercy, they share it with us. So when they share that with us, that helps the speed of our spiritual progress, because their realizations, we are getting the benefit of those in a few minutes when he shares them with us. So Krishna's instructions basically in text 34, Tadvidi Pranipatena, that is the overarching conception, meaning Tattva Darshana includes darshan by Shruti, Mati, or Gati. And then service is basically just following the instructions of the Guru. So that becomes the service aspect. Because we generally ask, okay, how can I serve? What should I do to serve? And essentially, Krishna says, serving means just following the instructions of Guru. So these were some additional points which we had not actually, we were not able to cover them last time. So I wanted to kind of cover them today before we jump into the final conclusion. But we can probably quickly do verse 41, where Krishna says, one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reaction of work or conqueror of riches. Before we get into that, I see somebody's raised their hand. It just says,
Dandavat Pranam, Vatsala.
oh, Hare Krishna Dhanapram Mataji. It just says Zoom user, so I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, I think it's switched on to something.
Okay.
Prabhu, you said three things, Shruti and Mati. What was the thing what we were discussing about? I didn't get it.
Oh, the third one was Gati.
Oh, good.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Vrishabhanu.
Hare
I
Krishna
have some
Prabhu.
doubts.
Yes, Prabhu.
But basically, we are following the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Disciplex session.
Yes.
But if you talk about the other, other parambara, like Shiva parambara, they are putting faith on based on Vedas, and they don't care about going to Vaikuntha, all those stuff, because they always say it's Brahma Jyoti.
Hmm.
But normally, when those who follows Prabhupada, they don't have faith on that, right?
Right.
So how do I understand this kind of concepts?
You know, according to how Prabhupada has explained it for us, we know that the Brahmajyoti realization is not as high as that of the Bhagwan realization, right? Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti, Shabdati. Right?
Yes.
So, I mean, the Rudra Sampradaya is also accepted by us as a bona fide Sampradaya,
Yes.
just as the Sri Sampradaya and the Kumar Sampradaya along with ours. So I am not really a student of what is given in the Rudra Sampradaya, but I would expect that if they are equivalent to, or if all these four are genuine Sampradayas, then the conclusion for each one of them should be the same, right? So just like we in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, we are following, or the instruction to us is that we should try to attain Bhagwan realization, which is higher than the...
I agree, Prabhu, but according to this text, those who doesn't have the faith, they consider as the ignorant people, right?
Right.
But we are not accepting, we are not focusing on Rudra Sampradaya philosophy.
Right.
So do we consider as ignorant or?
No, I mean, we are basically focusing on the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Vaishnavas Sampradaya process and philosophy. So, is your question about we are not following Rudra Sampradaya, so we are ignorant from that perspective, or?
Yes, that's what my question.
Oh,
so
okay.
we are ignorant on that perspective, we are ignorant, right?
To them, we are ignorant of the teachings of that Sampradaya. But
Yes.
as long as we follow with faith the teachings of the Sampradaya that we are following, then I think we are in a good place.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, it'll lead to confusion. I mean, I don't know what.
That's true. That's true. True, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the question, Prabhu.
Prabhuji just wanted to comment on that.
Yes,
So
Prabhu.
like since we have to follow the Shastra, right? So in Shastra, we have to understand like, like who is the supreme kind of. So like if someone say, like Lord Shiva is the supreme, so that has to be authenticated from the Shastra. So from Shastra, the Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Veda and Purana. So in Bhagavatam, it is like ete chansakala punsa Krishnastu Bhagavansvayam indriyari vyakulam loke varyanti yuge yuge. So when we are understanding, we are knowing from the Guru, and Guru through the basis of Shastra is saying that the Krishna is the supreme and topmost. So we have to accept the what Shastra is saying and what Guru is saying. So Krishna is the supreme. So in that way, if being
Sorry to interrupt you, Prabhu. If
Yeah.
you go and check with Sri Vaishnava or Rudra Sampradaya, because I am from Rudra Sampradaya, what we used to say that Bhagavan is the least, Brahmajyoti is the topmost. So if we go to Parambara, it differs. So we should not say that this is the best or that is the best. Those who follows, let them follow that. That is the answer. I got it from that. That's what I'm following. Srila Prabhupada and gave up the Rudra Sampradaya. But if you go and look at each Sampradaya, they clearly, the Vedas says, they are also quoting from Vedas. Clearly Vedas says that If you go to Yajur Veda, after the death, what you have to do, they're saying different. And Prabhupada's statement is totally different. But both are from Acharyas. So if you say you are correct, you cannot say that you are doing correct. What you are following, that is correct. That's what I come to the conclusion. Is that right, Ajit Krishna Prabhu? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, we have to basically follow one set of instructions because the others might then become confusing. I mean, I'm not aware of what Rudra Sampradaya basically says or what the Sri Sampradaya says. So I can't comment on,
Yes,
their
Prabhu.
conclusions.
Because I went into the contradiction, I spoke to many people. Finally, I got some kind of essence. Comparing two sets of Sampradaya, it will confuse. Only like Srila Prabhupada can handle both. People like me, I cannot handle it. So it is both the statements are right. So they can easily prove that their statements are right. Even Muslim can prove that their statements are right, even though their religion is little lower than ignorant people, but they can prove that what they are doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the conclusion is, that what we are following, stick to that, so then only we can progress what we are doing. That is the reason I gave up the practice of Rudra Sampradaya things and taken up Srila Prabhupada. If I compare both I cannot do anything. Both I will fail.
Right.
Sorry, Prabhu, if I offended anyone, apologize.
No problem, Prabhu. We are here for the discussion, more we discuss, more we learn.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear, Prabhu. It's good to hear.
Right.
Thank you for sharing all that with us.
Right. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sajanya Mataji's got a hand raised.
Prabhuji, you said the three things, that Yatha Shukram and Yatha Mati, Yatha Gati. You said this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, and am I right, Prabhuji?
3:6:36.
3, no, Canto 3 and Chapter 3 and verse 36.
No, Canto 3, Chapter 6, verse 36.
Okay, because I didn't find, and that's why I wanted. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. So maybe you have it up already. If you have that up, you can probably just read it out.
Oh, sure, Prabhuji. In spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech, for otherwise my power of speaking would remain unchaste.
Yeah.
Who is saying this to me?
So this is basically, he's explaining that the words of the Guru are what he is repeating. And therefore,
who is saying this to whom, Prabhuji?
I don't recall. I'll have to refresh my memory on that, Mataji.
No problem.
I'll have to look into the verses before, etc. So anyway, so the point was that the process of knowledge is acquiring knowledge is very important, because with knowledge, doubts are destroyed. And as we had covered, that the doubting person is worse than the person who is ignorant or the faithless, because the doubting person has some knowledge, so he's not ignorant, and he has some faith, so he's not faithless. But the doubts will come in the way of the person making spiritual progress, and therefore doubt should be removed, and doubts are removed by having knowledge. And knowledge can be acquired through this process of Tadvidhi Pranipatena. And then all of this that we discussed, Yatha Shrutam, Yatha Mati, and Yatha Gati, This is basically the characteristics of the bona fide guru, who then if we follow, then we can take advantage of these three aspects of the knowledge that the guru has and is imparting to us. So basically, doubts are destroyed by knowledge. Chapter 4, because we're talking about transcendental knowledge, the focus has been on karma, akarma, vikarma, gyan, and vigyan. So these are like five topics that are discussed through the course of the chapter, and doubts are destroyed by knowledge. So that's all I had. But any other
Prabhuji, I
comments?
saw that it was Maitreya Muni telling to Vidura. Vidura asked questions, so Maitreya Muni said that. Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Any other thoughts, comments, questions?
Prabhu,
Yes, Madhu.
I think, acquiring knowledge, our doubts are cleared. So that statement, as human beings, we are really not done extensively reading things or anything. We have only minute amount of knowledge. So I'm sure there will be doubts whenever we are reading scriptures and all. We don't know the see, the sages wrote all these things, realized souls.
Right.
But we are not we are at the very, very bottom level.
Yeah.
And we are not going to understand anything because we are still living in this Kali Yuga, going through all the things.
Right.
So we really don't have any depth of knowledge. So we are always going to be doubting things too. That is part of the human nature,
Right. Right.
You said, the scripture says as soon as you acquire knowledge, so we don't know how much knowledge we can acquire. When you compare to one person to the other, we don't have any knowledge. I think simply accepting Krishna, that is the one as a ignorant level. Sometimes, we cannot act like we are, so knowledgeable because we don't have that kind of depth of knowledge. So we simply have to accept what Krishna says and just go with your, faith, gut feeling, faith. Krishna says this, so it must be true. Otherwise, we are always going to be doubting because whatever we read, it's not going to be enough in our lifetime.
No, you're
going to be forgetful, right?
You're absolutely right, Madhu. We can never have complete knowledge. We are, we are embodied, conditioned souls. So for us to have complete knowledge is impossible. But as long as we have faith in the words of the Guru and the Shastra, then we are on the right path. Like one of the pastimes that we had discussed last time too was that about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to on his tour to South India, he came across this illiterate Brahmin who was reading or supposedly reading the Bhagavad Gita in the temple. And because he was illiterate, all those others who were knowledgeable, who were jnanis, they considered him a fool. But Mahaprabhu considered him perfect because he was simply following the instruction of his guru, and he was trying to read the Bhagavad Gita. And when he saw Krishna as the chariot driver of his devotee, he understood the kindness of Krishna. And so there were tears flowing from his eyes. And so Mahaprabhu praised him and he said, "You have understood the essence. So even though you may be considered illiterate, but you are perfect because you have understood the essence of Krishna's feeling towards his devotees. So you're absolutely right. We will never be fully knowledgeable. We are insignificant as far as knowledge is concerned. But it is just a matter of following the instructions of the Guru. And there are certain basic things that we are supposed to know. When we talk about knowledge in this context is, in this chapter especially, is we have to know what is karma, what is akarma, what is vikarma, and what is gyan, what is vigyan. So when we know this, when we know what is karma, what is vikarma, which is to be avoided, karma meaning acting without attachment, that's what Krishna is telling Arjun to do. Just act as do me to be.
I think we are losing you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
We didn't get the last
Breaking
part.
up, Prabhu. Sorry.
Oh, can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, now it's okay.
Okay. No, I was just saying that in the context of this chapter, the only knowledge that we really need is what is karma, meaning fruitive activities, so that is action and reaction. What is vikarma, which is actions which should be avoided because they are against the scriptures. And what is akarma, which is what Krishna is telling Arjun to do, meaning act without attachment to the results, just act out of duty to Krishna. That is all that we are expected to know. And so if we act in that way, that's enough.
So I would like to add one point to Vatsala Mataji, Prabhu. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So Vatsala Mataji, doubt is different than inquisitiveness. Whatever we have, it's not actually doubt. So it's a wrong word to be used. It's not a doubt. What we have is inquisitiveness. So doubts, of course, is like a demon if not resolved. So that is when, like Ajit Krishna Prabhu was saying, that it will mislead you in the wrong direction if you have doubts, because that is going to be demons eventually if they are not resolved immediately. So whatever we have, because we all have been following this path with faith. So we don't have doubt, but we have inquisitiveness to know more and more. That is knowledge gaining. Atato Brahma Jignasa. It's not that we doubt that Krishna is not, we doubt that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we are studying. No, we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know all the Vedas, they came from Vyasadeva. So we have trust in Vyasadeva. So we have trust in all the scriptures, Sadhu and Shastra, but we don't know the knowledge. It's just inquisitiveness. It's not that we are doubting everything. Just a small correction there.
It's a very nice clarification, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Ajit Krishna, I would like to share some small points, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
But what I heard from a couple of devotees, even though we don't have much faith on it, but if you keep associating with devotees and keep reading Prabhupada books, that will build up the faith.
Yeah.
Like that, even when you go to school, we won't have any understanding about all the subjects, but we keep attending all the classes. Slowly, we are building up the knowledge. The same way here, the Prabhupada made a nice way of approach. Associating with devotees and read Prabhupada books, automatically faith will bring up. The doubt automatically will be clear. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
It's already described in the Shastras, Sureshpana Prabhu, that the stages of bhakti, the devotional service, Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Ata Bhajana Kriya, Ata Anarvit.
Anartha Nivritti
Syat. So different stages. So this is what you explained, Prabhu. Thank you.
So Janay Mataji got a hand raised.
Yes, Prabhuji. So in fact, I was about to ask, the question came in my mind, and Mukti Sangha Prabhu kind of partially answered my question, because I was also thinking, okay, if Krishna is saying that we should not be doubtful, then where do we all stand? I was just trying to comment to myself. And then what I've understood, but I want you to correct me, Prabhuji, if I'm wrong or if I'm incomplete in my thought. So as Mukta Sangha Prabhu said, it is not doubt, but we are inquisitive because we want to know knowledge. But I think the doubt comes when you don't have trust or faith. For example, like if a kid feels that, oh, I don't know if my mom will give me food or not, but kid has faith that no matter what, my mom will give me food, but they're inquisitive to say whether we will give or not. That's different. So I think here what Krishna meant doubt, what I understood is, you should have trust and faith. Then you have a question, then that's like inquisitive. It's not, you're not questioning or you're not doubting. Who knows, maybe it is not correct. Who knows, maybe. Then it becomes like a debatable, or you're like no trust. I think that's how I convinced myself, answering to myself, to say that where do we stand is, we have faith in Krishna. That's why we are in this parampara and we are in this path where we will get answer from the scriptures, lectures, and then all the acharya's notes. And then I started thinking, it is true, because sometimes life is different every day. So many situations we come. I'm sure we all would have experienced one time or the other, without any connection, you would have got an answer when you're listening to a lecture or when you're speaking to a devotee. And like how Vrishabhana Prabhu said, being in association, that will help us to clear. Sometimes when somebody is sharing their notes or anything, somewhere it will click, oh, for my situation, I think this is what, maybe this is Krishna's arrangement that I got this answer like this. So when we have faith, I think it's Krishna will make sure that our small questions or what message we should get is taken care of, because we are looking at the right path. We're looking at the right resources of seeking Acharya's notes.
Yes. And Malati, that's a very important distinction. I think Mukta Sangha Prabhu also explained that very nicely. This is actually a very important question that was raised by Mataji and yourself too. Think about it like in chapter 7, when Krishna says there are 4 types of people who don't ever come to me and 4 types of people who come to me. And of the 4 types who approach him, one is the curious, right? The curious or the inquisitive. So,
yes.
Jignasu. You see, so one who is in distress, one who needs material things, one who's inquisitive, and one who is in knowledge, right? Now, these are categories, these are aspects that are being described of people's qualities, but we all have a little bit of all of those 4. Nobody is just in a clean box that, okay, this person has none of the other 3, but only all of number 4. It's not like that. We all have little of everything. So so in that sense, when we are curious and we are inquisitive and we approach to get knowledge, we should view ourselves not as doubters, but as ignorant. We don't know, but we are curious. We want to know. Therefore, we approach the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. You see? So that's a good thing. And that Krishna is saying, that's a good thing. The doubter that he's talking about in this verse is the person who says, oh, the Shastra, this is like people who blaspheme the Shastra, who say, well, where is the proof? What can you show?
Yeah.
That kind of mentality.
Yeah,
then it's hopeless.
Yeah. So like when they say, oh, I don't believe in all this.
I don't believe in all this. So, okay. If you don't believe, then you will never get any benefit out of it. But if you're curious, if you're inquisitive, then it means you have some faith in this. That's why you're coming with questions. So having questions is not equivalent to being a doubter. Having questions just means that we accept that we don't know everything and we want to know more. So we are curious, we are inquisitive, we are trying to ask about Krishna, learn about Krishna, and Krishna actually commends that. He says that's a good thing. that's a good person. That's a good characteristic to have. And when such a person approaches me, they will attain success.
Because one devotee was telling me, like, why do you get so many questions? And I used to think, I don't know why. Yes, I mean, but it's not that we are doubtful. So now I can tell to myself, convincing that it's because we want an answer, not because we are doubting the parampara or the system or the process.
You're not doubting. In fact, you have faith. That is why you're asking the questions from that source. If you didn't have faith, you'd say, I'm not going to waste my time asking questions of
Right,
from
right.
this, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, may I add one more thing, please?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
I think when we are doing all the material sciences about the world and other things, I think we can prove it through experimentation or something. But in a transcendental science, we have to really personally, we must trust Krishna and we must experience ourselves what is going on within us inside, right? Our relationship with the Krishna has to be experienced.
Right. Absolutely.
And that cannot be, I mean, only you know and Krishna knows what is happening between you and Krishna. And by following sadhu sanghas, realized souls, we are going to get more inspiration and, and we know for sure that we are leading into the right path. So I think, whatever we had, we always were asked to do. When we have doubt, ask, because those things are material sciences, whatever we learned in any chemistry or anything. So that's what I understood in transcendental science, that you cannot look at any other sources. You have to look at inside and Krishna. Krishna has to guide us.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what I just came.
And that's why you were commanding. And then, like we discussed, like when the guru, that is Yata Gati, what they have realized, they can share with us. You benefit from that. Because till the time we realize those things, it may be very long. So we leverage what they've realized and try to incorporate that in our lives.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji, can I share one small comment?
Yes.
In these three things, when you were telling us, Yata Shrutam, Eta Mati, and Yata Gati, because in the beginning, when I used to listen lectures or when we have to tell somebody, I always used to think, oh, for everything, why they always refer something? And then when I have to tell someone or I have to tell a new person, I used to tell, oh, I'm easily able to remember the summary or what are we getting from it, but I can't remember the source. But now I feel it has no value if we don't tell the source, because the faith builds more when you tell from the source. And the main point is these three qualities, what you just said, like what I have heard from, like Yathashruti, it's not my word, like how Prabhupada says, it's not me, this is how. Yeah. So we have to memorize and remember the source. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome, Mate. Thank you, Mate. Okay, Prabhuji, then.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very good discussion as usual. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
So before
Prabhu, remember that you have house here.
Sorry,
Prabhu, you have rooms here already.
Sorry?
Oh, what's that?
Prabhu, your rooms are ready for you to stay here.
Oh,
remember that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Are you planning a trip to Atlanta? Please come and
yes,
stay
Prabhu,
with
when
us.
Shyam Prabhu opened the temple, I am planning to visit, Prabhu.
Okay. But before that, you should come also.
Why not, Prabhu? I have your house. I can come and stay with you. Right?
Yes. Anytime. Anytime. You're most welcome, Prabhu. Anytime.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. I will.
So, Prabhu, I'll have quick announcements before everyone leaves. So, this Sunday, as you all know, Sunday is China Ekadashi, fast from grains and beans, and breakfast on Monday, 5:41 a.m. to 10:37 a.m. And Sunday, because of this Ekadashi, we have a special program, Pauganda Pravachan, Sunday. And this time we are very fortunate to hear from Om Prabhu. He's just 7 years old. He's from New Jersey. is very enthusiastic to talk about Gajendra Leela. So please join
Nice.
10 a.m. EST. It's the same Zoom credentials. The third thing is we also have a chanting session every day. A congregational chanting every day starts at 4:30 a.m. until 7:30 a.m. So please join. Whoever is not joining, please join. It will be very nice. Many devotees join. I'll send out the details in our Benchalam Bhakti Ruksha group. So please join. That's all I have. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining this session.
Thank you, Prabhu.
वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपार्थं
Thank you.
देवस्य पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
Thank you very much.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Pick
Ajita
up a-
Prabhu ki jai. Prabhu ki
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Hare
and
Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
everybody.
Krishna Prabhuji.